Hello. The message that came through today is you are not alone. And to share some of my personal experience with this is over the past year of practicing various active meditation practices, some of which are tuning into the more subtle realms and just listening. Directing my attention towards different spirits, different energies. And when I first started this, it was kind of just like, what am I doing? Uh, I'm just I'm sitting here and I'm waiting. And what is my own mind versus a quote unquote external communication? What's the difference? And over the years, over well, the year, um, of practicing, what I realize is that it's less of trying to like reach out and do something and find the message, and every little thing that comes in, oh, is this it, is this a communication from X, Y, and Z, from consciousness, from God. It was about strengthening and awakening even the receptors for messages, for communication from the invisible realm, invisible beings. And I say awakening the sensors, or the receptors, because it's like when you take in a substance that does something. So for instance, like a pain reliever, like a Tylenol or something. We have receptors in our body that know what to do with the chemical that's in it that make it do a certain thing. Another obvious example is smoking. It we have the receptors in our brain to produce that effect. That's the reason why we take these things in. And the communication, uh, the subtle communication is the same way. We have receptors for it. It's just they've been over the years, over the millennia, um, dampened, and especially so like recently, uh, since I'm gonna throw a date out there. Let's call it the 1700s, the 1800s, 1900s, when we've had modernity, when we've had the modern times and the amount of signals that are in the air. Since then, we've dampened our ability to receive messages somewhat subconsciously and physically too, through just the waves in the air, and then just from actively participating in the suppression of these things where you know like, just for instance, it's I want to translate this message, but then I'll, before this, listen to somebody else's message. And I just say that to say that it's like blocking what wants to come through. It's blocking the message that it's blocking the channel so that the message is more difficult to come through. So you are not alone. I say all of that because all this like learning how to connect with these more subtle energies, because they're out there. These subtle energies are out there. These beings are out there. I see a bird fly past. It has a pretty big wingspan. Don't know what it is. People seem to just know what birds are. I don't understand that. They see, oh, like, I know a cardinal, I know a blue jay, because they're blue, because they're red. Like, those are obvious. But like, oh, is that a falcon? I don't know. The beings that are in the invisible realm are as real as that bird that flew past. The fact that I can see that with my eyes, there's a little bird too. The fact that I can see that with my eyes tells my brain, okay, that's there, that's real. But for some reason, I'll discount when I feel a presence. Like I feel it energetically. I feel it in my space, and I don't just feel it in my brain, in my mind. I don't just feel it up here. I just know. And that's what I'm talking about, awakening and strengthening the receptors to these things, because I feel like I've just barely touched the surface. And I feel like I'm just even like one molecule of my toe is touching the surface. Uh and the more that I the more that I hear other people channel messages through, the more I believe in the fact that there is this invisible realm. And I'm just thinking about how it's only my rational, it's only the mind, it's only the thinking mind. Let's call it the thinking mind that says don't listen to that. Here's some things that you can think about that are in your vicinity that you can see that are quote unquote real. And I'm not quite sure why. I mean, okay, the ego wants to stay alive. It wants to validate its reality, its being real. So it's going to throw all these distractions. It's basically the loudest voice in the room that's distracting from the more subtle whispers of your own internal self and of other beings, other spirits, other entities of God. It wants to stay alive. It wants to be the center of attention. Yeah, it wants to be the center of attention. And the thing is that I went on a crusade to destroy the ego, eliminate the ego, remove the ego. That's what I've heard is the ego is the issue. The ego's not the issue. The ego is what's enabling me to speak right now, to communicate this message. The name of the channel at this moment is Caleb Speaks. It's the ego Caleb Speaks. But that's just the way that I communicate. Like, I can communicate is with this function. It's not it's not necessary to be the center though. Um, it's something that needs to be decentralized. It needs to be taken out of the middle and sort of there as a tool for being in this world, for communicating with other people, for having opinions and personality traits and all this stuff. Like it's a function of living in this world. So we've we've moved a little bit from the message of you are not alone. Um, but I think that's true, and that you are not alone. I have this little paper with some more information of the message that I received. So all of this can be accelerated with willingness to receive, because I feel like sometimes I want to make things happen. It's when I want to feel more connected. It's okay. I have to go out and make this happen. Whereas it's more of a willingness to let the things that are trying to come to me, the people that are trying to come to me in a more like energetic sort of way. I get in the way of that because I say, okay, this is who I am. Let me put myself out there and be this certain way so I can attract these certain types of people. But it's about being open and receptive to, yes, putting yourself out there, but then just emanating, just radiating your true energy, and that is magnetic. That's the thing, that's magnetic. When there's no agenda for the ego trying to be perceived a certain way to attract certain types of people to complete this fantasy that it has created, there's a willingness, and that's the action you can take, is the willingness to be open to put yourself out there, and to be willing to accept accept the things that are coming in, to accept the help that is being given, to accept the arm that's being extended out to you. So you are not alone. And in the same sense of let's bring it back to the physical reality. Your magnetic field around other people is going to intermingle with their magnetic field, and it's going to create a sort of new resonance. And I think it's about being around people who harmonize with your own vibration. And I think there's a little piece of harmony in everybody that you meet. Some are just more harmonious than others. So, yeah, I feel like that's it for today. So I want to thank you for being here, and thank you for being here on this journey with me as I sort out, figure out, and just flow through what this is. So, thank you for being here. Sincerely, thank you for being here.